A billion-dollar lawsuit filed today sheds some light on GMO. Even China doesn't want it in their country. Even China is banning it. And that's caused them, out of uncertainty, to essentially ban all U.S. corn. Courthouse News Service reports that seed giant Syngenta faces billion-dollar class actions in 3 states, claiming that China is restricting U.S. corn shipments because Syngenta released a genetically altered variety before the crop was approved for export to China. Syngenta, quote, destroyed the export of U.S. corn to China and caused depressed prices for all domestic corn. Well, while China may have embargoed all U.S. corn, essentially government regulators are starting to embargo mortgages. Even Ben Bernanke can't refinance his mortgage. Now consider Ben Bernanke's situation. He's making about $250,000 per speech, doing quite a few speeches. He's got a multi-million-dollar book contract in the works, and he's only trying to finance an $839,000 home. So his ratio is probably less than 0.4 of the price of his income to the price of the home that he's getting. Compared to a typical American, the median price of a home in the United States is $189,000. The median U.S. income is $52,000. So that means that you're looking at about 3.5 times what you're making in a house for somebody else, whereas Bernanke is looking at something that's maybe a third of his income, and even he can't get a refinance. This was something that came out at a mortgage conference on Thursday. He surprised everybody. It's been reported on by a lot of different outlets, New York Times, Bloomberg. He said, just between us, and he was on stage in Chicago on Thursday, he said, I recently tried to refinance my mortgage, and I was unsuccessful in doing so. It's not that he can't qualify. It's the banking regulations. And if you look at this article from Bloomberg, look at this chart where it shows that essentially total mortgage credit has flatlined and it has not recovered since 2008. Now, one of the reasons that this is happening, of course, is the Dodd-Frank bill, which essentially was nothing but a golden parachute for those 2 criminals to retire on. They set up the Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act of 2010. And if you believe that that's really protecting consumers, you're not paying attention. What it's doing is restricting the market. And as they point out in Bloomberg, they say the risk pendulum has clearly swung too far from reckless to fraidy cat. The reality is that lenders should be the ones making the decisions and risking their own money. We have this kind of Byzantine regulation shutting down credit because we have allowed the big banks to socialize their losses. The big banks, or any lenders for that matter, should be able to determine who they want to lend money to. They should be able to set the parameters of the risk, and then they should get the rewards or suffer the consequences. That's what you do in a free market. That's what we should be doing here. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to take a look at Hong Kong and at ISIL. We'll be right back.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox Special at InfoWarsLife.com.